Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today I'm at Mr Moo's Touring Park on the Yorkshire coast and I'm here to review this. This is the Coachman Travel Master 545. Now this is the motorhome that Jules and I have been testing out, so as well as doing my usual review, I'll also talk to you about how we found it as well, and some of the features that we've really liked and some that maybe we've not liked quite so much. So it'll be a little bit more in depth. I have also done a review of the Travel Master 565 and I'll put a link in the description to that video if you want to see the single bed model instead. The 545 is the island bed. Right, so what do we need to know about it? Now, the Travel Master was actually launched as Coachman's first motorhome just over 3 years ago. And when I first reviewed it and got inside it at a launch event, I was incredibly excited and wowed by it. However, having got back out of it at that time, I stood back and looked at it and did think, heck, that's an incredibly big motorhome. And I did worry that this is actually a little bit too big, but we'll go into more about that as we go. Now, it is based on the Mercedes. It has a 2-litre diesel engine, 170 horsepower and automatic transmission. As I go round, just about everything on this motorhome is included in the price, and again I'll point those features out. Now, whilst it's based on Mercedes, it does have the ALDE chassis. You'll notice that it has also got only a single axle at the rear. It is not a twin axle, and that is unusual considering this motorhome is 8 metres and 39 centimetres in length. It is a big one. In terms of width, it's 2 metres and 45 centimetres in width. So again, it is a wide one, and it's 2 metres and 98 centimetres in height. So it is quite a high one. Now, in terms of weight, this Travel Master comes in with a gross vehicle weight of 4.5 tonnes or 4,500 kilos. So you will need the C1 category on your driver's licence to drive it. In terms of payload, now payload is not bad. You're actually going to get 650 kilos of payload. However, if you have the model with the awning and the air conditioning, I believe you will have to take those weights from that payload, but that should still leave you with around 600 kilos, so pretty good. Right, let's venture around and talk about it and point out some of these features. So, the Travel Master is only available in this one colour, that's the white cab, white body and these graphics. It is a 4-berth motorhome and it has 4 travel seats. It has an island bed at the rear and a drop-down bed, which I'll show you. Now, I talked about a price. So prices start at £123,000 without the air conditioning and the awning. Coachman do order them pretty much standard from the factory with the awning and aircon, so they are going to cost you just over £127,000. But it's got a lot of equipment on it, so stand by. What we'll do, we'll go down the offside first of all. So we have our Mercedes-Benz cab. As I say, it's got that automatic transmission. It also comes packed with Mercedes-Benz features, including collision avoidance and crosswind assist. Up at the front, we see the big Coachman name and the front sunlight there, which does actually open on Travel Master, unlike Sportivo, which is fixed. Down the offside, so you will get the alloy wheels as standard, you will get the electrically operated wing mirrors, and if I open the door, you are also going to get standard heated seats as well. We'll see more about the cab when we go in, but you will get the heated seats and also the blinds here in the side windows and the cab blind as well. Now, coming down, there's also the side step when you do jump in, and then we can see these graphics for the 2026 season. This is the 2026 model. There's a vent there because we do have an extractor fan. Now, different to Sportivo and Travel Master, you can see this sort of more bulbous cab area, and that's where the drop-down bed is actually secreted, and again we'll see inside. Now, I think this is interesting because this is a semi-integrated motorhome. We have the cab, and I think due to its size, this could potentially be a real competitor for A-class motorhomes if you're considering one. Now, coming down, this is our toilet cassette point. Then we have our vent for the ALDE wet central heating. You'll get ALDE wet central heating and underfloor heating, which is absolutely amazing, my favourite personally. Electrical cut point and the garage. I'll show you from the near side, but there is a garage door on the near side and the off side. And then we go round to the rear, and I love a nice big back end, and hecky thump, look at this. This is absolutely stunning. As far as I'm concerned, you are going to struggle to find a motorhome back end that looks as good as this one. You do get the rear view camera. Now that rear view camera, you watch it through the screen on the Mercedes-Benz dash, and it is an amazing rear view camera. The view is phenomenal, extremely good. Then we have the brake light, the Coachman name, the big Coachman badge, Travel Master embossed across the back, and then these fabulous Carber there, embossed there, LED lights. And then as you come down, you see as well the white under trim as well. So if you just take a little bit further back, you will just get the full effect of this beautiful back end. Up on the roof, what you'll also get as standard is a Wi-Fi system, a television aerial, 140 watt solar panel, the air conditioning unit by Dometic. So there's plenty of equipment included as standard, and to complement your 140 watt solar panel, you will get two 130 amp AGM batteries as well. So plenty of kit on board. Right, let's take a look in the garage. So garage space. Now, as I say, there's a door on the near side and the off side. Now we've got some of our equipment in here because obviously we do go out and about. So in there, you'll see the amount of room you are going to get in the garage space. There's also a light. It runs down the centre of the garage in the middle, and that will give you illumination for when you are out and about and it's a little bit dark. Back here, you'll also find the winder for the awning. We've got the ladder here as well for the drop-down bed, and then some of our motorhoming stuff. We have tried our electric bikes in here, and you can fit electric bikes, no problem at all. Due to the height, we did take the front wheel off ours, but we have got big bikes, but absolutely loads of space here in that garage. Right, close it up. And then next we have our gas locker. So in here, you'll get two 11 kilo gas bottles. We've got our safe fill in there. If you do off-grid quite a lot, particularly in winter, you'll definitely want two gas bottles if you're running your ALDE off the gas. Then we have an external television point. There's also a plug socket here, so if you're wanting to use gadgets outside, you also get plugs and a 12 volt in your garage as well. And then we have an external gas barbecue point as well, so if you like cooking outside, you'll be able to hook up to that. You'll see here the awning. Now this is a wind out awning by Thule, 4.5 metres long, I believe. It is a manual wind out. The Sportivo actually has the electric one, but this is a manual one, and there is an LED strip light running all the way under there, and that complements this other outdoor light here that you can see. That also works on a sensor function too. Then we have our vents for the tower fridge and freezer. Habitation door on the near side. I'm just about getting used to having the door on this side as opposed to the off side. You'll notice as well the lower step you see here in the moulding, and if I open the door up now, you can see that you step in. You do not need an electric step on these. Now I've heard people ask, or people have asked me, and I've heard people say that this is quite low and it won't be long before you ground it out. We never had any issue on our Sportivo, and as yet we've not had any issue on this model here that we've had. And we've been to quite a few places. We've been over speed humps, we've been on ferries with the Sportivo, and we have had no issue. So that hasn't caused a problem at all for us. Next up, the water filling point. Now this is also quite interesting. So on board, I'll just open it up so you can see it, 87 litre fresh water tank, and that's actually situated here, and a 90 litre grey waste tank. Now 87 litres is not a large capacity water tank, especially not for a huge motorhome like this. So the question again I get asked quite a lot is, how do you manage with that? That's the same size as we had on the Sportivo. So we've had quite a lot of experience now with that size water tank. We've not had an issue. We've been on pitches for 3 days with no issue, 5 days with no issue. And we also, when we were in Germany at Caravan Salon, we had 9 days without going to fill up again on one fill. So unless there's some magical bottomless water tank system, I don't know, but I've had no problem. And I used to have a 140 litre fresh water tank. So it's been a big difference, but yeah, 87 litres, managed no problem. So there we go. That is the exterior of the Travel Master 545, 8 metres and 39. Now, I will, when we hand this back, talk more about the size, but so far we have not had an issue with the size. Pitches, I always make sure the campsite will take a motorhome of this size. So far, so good. Driving it, again, not had any problems. It doesn't feel as big as it looks. It is actually very easy to drive, and I've not had issues. There was only one lane when we first went out in Norfolk where we went through a village and it was incredibly narrow, and we just had a couple of inches at each side, and it wouldn't have mattered what motorhome I was in, I'd have had the same experience. So in terms of its size, not a problem for me personally, but one that you might want to consider. Right, let's dive inside and take a look. So up in the front, now we have our two captain's chairs. These do swivel for when you're on site, as you can see. The cream leather for 2026. One of the questions I've got is how practical is cream leather in a motorhome? Well, that's what I'm finding out at the moment. So when this goes back, this motorhome, there'll be an update on that. Coachman embossed there in that leather seating, and then at the front we've got our Mercedes-Benz. You do get an excellent size screen here, and this is where the rear view camera will play through. You also get a very good satellite navigation system and the Mercedes Me app. You may have heard Jules talk before on previous videos about the Mercedes Me app. You connect to that and you can control various functions of the Mercedes part of the motorhome from here. You've also got an electric grey waste dump here at the front, as well as in the control panel, and I'll come to that. And then my multifunctional steering wheel is behind me. And as I said before, outside, there's blinds all around. Now in the cab, now this is why I quite think, well, I think this is a good alternative to an A-class motorhome, because you've still got a really nice view out here of the Mercedes, but you haven't got that issue of if you damage a very expensive A-class windscreen. So this is another bonus of having an extremely large motorhome, but not on the A-class. It's just something to consider if you're weighing up the two. Now up here we have the window here, which does open. This does have a blind and a fly screen. Then we've got storage here. So we've got netting. I've got a first aid kit there. And then we've got storage and lighting, and on this side I'll open this up, storage and a little light. And there are USB-C charging points as well within these little lights. This is a really handy little cupboard. I actually keep my body warmer in there, so when I jump out of the motorhome I've got my jacket to hand. Now I'll step down, but you'll see here there's a vent. So as I say, ALDE wet central heating all around the motorhome and the underfloor heating. It works fantastically. Stepping down onto this beautiful light wood effects flooring. Now on the off side we have storage. Some of these bits are Jules and I that we take with us because this is our motorhome that we're travelling in. But storage here, and then underneath you'll find on this side another little light with the USB-C. Now the good things with these little LEDs, if you press it on, you can either have it straight down as a downlighter and you've got this little light band here, or you can manoeuvre it to lift it up as well if you're sat and you want it facing elsewhere. So these are manoeuvrable, and then you just touch to tap them off. Now obviously you see the window with the little nets. You do get a blind and a fly screen. They are the plastic style blinds. This is common across motorhomes manufactured in Europe, because the Coachman motorhomes are actually built in Sweden. You may have heard me talk about that before. Now here on the off side we have our first bench seat. Now what I really like about the Travel Master, because it is so big, you get such a good lounge space. Motorhomes, the compromise is internal space, but not on a motorhome this size. And I think if size is important to you inside, this is definitely one for you. This will give you the caravan space in a motorhome. It's perfect for sitting here with your feet up and watching television, and equally you can do that on that bench seat as well. What happens here is this also converts into two travel seats. You'll see the seat belts are here. You do get headrests as well. To operate this function, you simply remove this cushion from here, which I'll take out. You then remove this bottom cushion as well. And what's good with this feature is, because they're very conscious about security obviously at Coachman, you have little sections in the cushion and they attach onto this bar here, so you're not going to just slide off your seat. Then what you do is you pull this lever and slide this around. Now This then becomes your travel seat. We take this out. I'm giving you a full demonstration live, no B-roll for this one. This is me actually doing it. And then pull this, slide this out. There we go. Now, if you are using it as a travel seat, we then bob this back on. I won't do the full thing because we'll be here all day, but you get the idea. You've got then your seatbelt down there and the seat, and you can put your phone back in, tuck it behind your seat belts, and you have got now a travel seat forward facing. What Jules has also been doing, if I just slide this back in, pull the handle and slide in, and put this back, what Jules has been doing is he's actually made a recliner. Now this is quite interesting. So, well, I think it is, you might not find it all that interesting. If you put that seat back in there, you can then sit, I'll demonstrate it, you can then sit here and watch television. So you can either sit along there or sit here. Now, I think this is fabulous. So again, in a motorhome where you don't get much relaxation space, we've now got a sort of a nice bench seat to watch television and chill out. Absolutely fantastic. As well as obviously this bench seat where you do also get these cushions which are a brown colour. And then this little table, this is a brilliant feature. You'll see there's a little clip just down here. If you push that open, this table now swivels, so you can put it wherever you want and lock it back in place. So you can sit here with your cup of tea or your alcoholic drink or your slice of cake, whatever you want, you can sit here. The other person can sit in the captain's chair as well. So you can sit here and you've got this little table. This is perfect on a morning when I've made my cup of tea and I've sat there, and then you can lock it back in place. There is a full-size table to put here when you're using it as a dining area, and I'll come to that. So there is a full-size table. Now, that's the lounge area, which is quite exciting, I think. Additional space here. Got two more LED lights with the USB-C chargers. So again, you can charge your gadgets on there. Now above us, you'll see a drop-down bed. Now this is the first two berths, and this is a double bed, and it's a really good length. It's 198 centimetres long, and it's just over 100 centimetres wide. It's electrically operated. When you want to use the drop-down bed, what you're going to do is remove the cushions from the sofas, and then on the control panel, we're going to press the button and the bed's going to drop down into position, and then you can use that ladder that I showed you in the garage to climb up here. And there's also a little sunroof up there as well for light as well, which is an added bonus. When you've finished, you just do the reverse. So that's the bed. And what I'll do is I'll just ask Jules to bring you through here so you can see as well how flush the bed is. So quite often on a drop down bed in a motorhome, you'll notice that it's lower or the ceiling's up here and then there's, an obvious bed. It's almost completely flush, as we can see. So you're not losing headroom. Now Jules is 6'1", and he has still got several inches of headroom above him. I believe you've got about 6'5" in headroom in the motorhome. And the ceiling is padded as well, and that's for insulation and soundproofing. As well as having the padded ceiling, what you also get on the Coachman Travel Master is this fabric wall. Now I've spoken before about the construction of these. The exterior, you've got aluminium, then insulation, and then aluminium again, and then this carpet finish on the walls, and that goes all the way around. I don't know if we can see, we can't see in that cupboard. I'll show you in a kitchen cupboard, and that's in the cupboards as well. It's all the way around, and this again is for insulation, and it prevents a buildup of condensation in the motorhome, and this is a really quite unique feature on the Coachmans. Right, before I do the kitchen, I'm going to carry on this way just briefly, and then we'll dive over there. So habitation door on the near side. As you come in, you've got a couple of hooks, and then the control panel. Now you can pay an extra premium for Smart D, and Smart D gives you a remote function to the control panel. We personally don't feel we need it. We've got the Mercedes Me app for the main body, and then I just use the control panel. On here, you can operate all the lights. I haven't got the lights on because they do flicker on the camera really badly, and there's nothing I can do, and I don't want it to spoil the video. But the lighting, there's a mood lighting button. I'll just put the mood lighting on. You may get flicker now, so I do apologise. But on a night, the mood lighting wrapping around the motorhome and down the sides of the fridge is absolutely fantastic. It's such a beautiful feel on a night time. It's like a little den. I absolutely love it. So that's on there. You've got the water pump, the control for your ALDE wet central heating. You control your fridge and freezer from here, and you can also control the air conditioning unit, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. That's the control there for the drop down bed. You can also, on the electric function, see how much power you've got coming in. This is your solar. You can see your battery levels as well here. There's loads of other functions that are on that, which I won't go into now because I could talk about it all day and it's pretty boring. So yeah, control panel there. Little shelving unit. There's actually a wireless charger in there as well if you want to charge your phone. And then television. So we've got a TV point here. If you have it in this landscape, you can have a 21-inch television. You can put a 24-inch television in, but you would have to then store it portrait like that. But otherwise, landscape, and the television bracket is already in the Travel Master, but you will have to buy your own TV. So our TV point, handle for when you come in. So that is the entrance point. Now I'm going to dive over to my little kitchen. Now I like this because the motorhome's longer. There's a lot more space in the kitchen area, certainly compared to our Sportivo. Now the nice finish here, we've got cream gloss. I love this, and that's with the matte black handles. Let's have a nosy in my cupboards. Now you can see the carpet back here. This is what I was talking about in that other cupboard that we couldn't see. So you've got the carpet finish all the way through. So 2 cupboards there. And then these ones as well, so you can see the amount of storage. I keep my mugs here and my Yorkshire tea. Oh, you can't beat Yorkshire tea. So there we go. That's a quick nosy in my cupboards, but a good amount of space, very good. You have lighting here. You also have lighting under here and an extractor fan. The splashback all lights up as well. Some little hooks, 2 plug sockets as well for kettles or bits and pieces. I know I use that on my kettle. And then as we come down, the matte black tap, and then a square sink. I believe previous generation Travel Masters had a different sink. We've now got a square sink for 2026. We have the white gloss finish here, and then we have a bank of drawers as well. Our gas burners. Now wait till you see what I've got to cook with in the Travel Master. Bearing in mind I can't cook, I'm a bit spoiled, but 2 gas burners. And then the drawers. Now what is important to do is these turn downwards for the open position. And when you're travelling, you want to make sure that they're horizontal, and that'll stop drawers opening. Now this is the cutlery drawer. I have got a little remote control. I'll show you what that does in a second. And then we've got a second drawer. I do apologise for all the bits and pieces. This is our stuff in here. And then we've got a bin compartment. This is really handy. Obviously, put a bin liner in there and off you go. And then moving along, now this is different. So if I pull this out, we've got a really good rack here. So this is ideal for tins. This is where Jules and I keep all our tins. And then coming along in this drawer, more cutlery items. You can isolate your gas functions there. And then we have the Thetford gas oven, which you can see here. And then below that, there are some crumbs in there. You do, and that's a good point as well, you do obviously get the trays. What I always do in all my motorhomes is I always take the oven trays out and I put them in a cupboard, because the one thing that's going to rattle like no one's business are those trays. So I always take the shelves out, so that reduces rattle in the motorhome. So that is my top tip. Obviously put them back in when you need to use it. And then we've got a drawer at the bottom here. I've been using that for the one pan that I own. There we are. So yeah, so I've got my oven, I've got my hob, and then we're going to venture over. As we go over, we've got the additional light here, and then we come to a microwave, a Dometic microwave. Now, the reason I'm quite excited about that is because European motorhomes that I'm used to do not have microwaves. It's very, very rare to find one. UK manufacturers are more likely to include them, and that's what goes on here with Coachman. So we have got a very good size microwave. Jules and I have used this lots because the weather's cooled off. It's nice to have some warm food, and I'm no good at cooking, but I can buy some mega microwave meals. So this for me is a complete bonus. Underneath we come to the Thetford Tower Fridge and Freezer. I believe this is 156 litre capacity. I love a Thetford Tower Fridge and Freezer, and this is the best one I've ever had. We've got a huge separate freezer compartment and then the fridge. Absolutely loads. I can get loads in here, and I always fill my fridge. You may have seen on videos what my fridge looks like. This has been excellent. If you're an electric hookup, it's going to run on the electric. If you're off hookup, it's going to run off gas. When you're driving it along on the road, travelling to site, it will default, as long as you've got it on auto, onto your battery, the 12 volt, and that will maintain the cooler temperature. So electric, hookup or gas, unless you're driving, 12 volt. Now this is where your kitchen table actually goes. You can see it in there. So, or your lounge table, sorry. So when you do want to eat, take out the lounge table there. It's the white gloss finish that matches this. It is freestanding. I'm not really one for freestanding tables. I've always liked a fixed table, but that's a good idea because when it's away, it does give you all the space. Right, and then just under here, we've got a shoe cupboard, or that's what Jules and I have used it for. So that has been filled with our actual big pack of Pepsi Max. So you can put drinks under there or all your shoes. And that's what we've been doing. Right, before I move back, I'll take my little remote control with me. Try not to lose it. I'll put that in my pocket. Now moving back, the motorhome continues even further. This door here is going to come across and it's going to separate the habitation front to the middle section of the motorhome. And that's then going to lead back into a separate shower and the toilet and washroom. We'll come to those, I think, on the way back. I'll do it in a certain way so you can see it all properly. There's a sunroof here which does open. You have a blind and a fly screen. And then here we have our bed. Now, 545 is an island bed. 565 is longitudinal or single bed. I have done that review of the 565, which I said I'll put in the description. Now this bed is huge. It is 198 centimetres long. I believe that's 6'5" in inches and feet, and it's 152 centimetres wide. So it is a king size bed. Now Jules and I have got our bedding on here, but what you'll also find, I'll just lift this up, is under our bed sheet, the Coachman motorhome mattresses. You find here, you've got this sprung part of the mattress, so these are luxury mattresses, and then a memory foam top as well. And believe me, they're incredibly comfy. I've slept like a little loglet in my Coachman beds, because before, mattresses have been a bit of an issue, I'll admit that, on leisure vehicles, because to keep weight down, the memory foam often isn't as good as it should be. And we've actually had to buy new mattresses on our motorhomes and our caravan to have a better sleep experience, but not on these. So yeah, really good. But yeah, so this is the bed. Now, I mentioned about my little remote control. So what this bed does, there's either the remote or underneath there's also a button 1 and 2. And if you press the buttons, what's going to happen is you'll see the headrest is starting to lift up. That'll keep going up. I'll just stop it there before I squash everything. So you can sit yourself up as well in bed if you want to read or have a cup of tea. And as I say, there's buttons up there as well, or you can use your remote. And then when you've finished, press it and it drops itself back down. That's a handy feature. Jules and I have used that as well. We've actually spent more time in bed in the morning, which we've not done before. I'll just put that back there. So yeah, really good feature. Now the thing with the bed is, it is high. Now this is why this island bed is interesting. It might be that the longitudinal beds are better for you. To get the height in the garage, the bed has a high ground clearance. On this side, which I'll go up first, this is actually Jules's side, you have 3 steps and you can see me going up them. Obviously you don't have to climb up all of them. I think this is a little bit extreme, but you can see you've got 3 steps to climb up. Because the bed is high. You've also got limited headspace, but that gives you that extra space in the garage. So that is the compromise on this. The height of the bed gives you the garage space, but once you're up, climb up your little steps, and here you are. Now, under here, as I said, you've got light switches and the control for the bed. There's also your little USB and LED lights. On each side, there's a little compartment. There's one on this side, and that's got a USB-C charging point in it, and here on this side as well. And in there, you can put your gadgets and charge them on a night, so they're really handy. These overhead lockers are where you can store items as well, and you can hear how solid that clasp is as well as I open them. Nothing has popped open on our travels. Sometimes motorhomes and caravans, things pop open. Nothing has popped open on this motorhome. Reach over and close that. Really strong struts as well. Now above me we have a sunroof. This opens as well for ventilation. It has a blind and a fly screen. Then we have a centre light, and then here you can see the Dometic air conditioning unit. Now, I've never had Dometic air conditioning, I've had Truma, so it's been really good to try the Dometic to the Truma. On the Dometic, this one obviously has the cold air conditioning function, and it also has a heating element, a heating function. The Truma Comfort has the equivalent functions as well, so it's been good to try the Dometic. It works incredibly well. On a cold morning, we've used the heat function just to see how it works. And what I'd say is, if you've arrived on a site and your ALDE system is cold and you just want a quick blast of heat, that on the hot air setting will heat through really quickly, even on a motorhome this size. Very efficient. Same with the air conditioning function, very efficient. So I've been impressed with the Dometic air conditioning system. To control it, there's a number of ways to turn it on and off. You can either use the main control panel that I've showed you above the door, or you can use the functions on the screen itself. It's not lit up at the moment, it's not activated, but you can turn it on with touch features. There's a barcode here. If you scan that barcode, you'll go through and actually have an app, and you can control this from your iPhone or whichever phone you have. And fourthly, there's a remote control that comes with it, so you can lay in bed and press that, or sit at the front and do it. Or, as Jules has done, he's just used the app, so you don't actually have to get out of your seat to use your heating. So it'll have air conditioning cold, warm air for the heat. You can also have it on a general fan setting if you just want to circulate air. Lots of features, really impressed. And it does have 2 lights down it as well if you want to turn the lights on. So that's a big yes from me. Now back here we have wardrobes. On the 565, the storage for your clothing is under the bed. On the 545, this one, you get wardrobes. You also get these little wire baskets. You can see your rail and then storage back there. There's a control in there for the ALDE system. The ALDE works off the main panel, but if for any reason that panel fails, you have got access to it here. There's a little button next to it, a 12-volt button. If something goes badly wrong with the electrical features of your motorhome, and for any reason you lose power, but you've still got your 12-volt system, you can actually run the electrical ALDE system off that 12-volt. That's sort of an emergency function, so you don't freeze to death if the worst happens. Right, now under here as well, if I pull this open, it's not got any of Jules's bits and pieces in at the moment, you'll be pleased to hear. You get a little slide out drawer on each side, my side and Jules's side, and then you still get one of these little, I haven't just ripped it off, it does come off, it's Velcro. You get these little pouches. Jules and I don't use them, I'm not sure what you would use them for, but there's a little pouch on each side if you do like those. Then we've got our nets, and there's a blind and a fly screen. Back in this corner, you can see there you can also have a television, so you've got your plug socket and then your TV 12-volt and your aerial, and then light switches as well for the motorhome. So you can add a TV back here if you want. You'll notice as well there's a privacy screen, an additional privacy screen, just a slide out one. So if you are using it as a 4-berth, you can have privacy from people in the drop down bed who might be coming back to use the toilet on a night. And then there's these little storage. What you do with these, it's a push and then they open. Little storage cupboard as well on each corner. Push. And then on my side, there is literally just 2 steps to get up to my side of the bed, which you can see there. Jules has got 3 steps, I've got 2, and then I've got a little wardrobe as well. And then under the bed, now one thing I have been impressed with, I must say, and it is a big motorhome, so I'd expect it, but storage. So as well as all that back here, I've also got storage here. Now this has got one of these little turners as well, so down to unlock, and then we've got a drawer here, one here, and then on each side, I'll open this one, there is a little storage cupboard. I'll just take my surface spray out, a little storage cupboard there as well. So there's 2 of those, one on each side of those drawers. Close that up, lock my drawers again, and there we go. So that's the bedroom space. I must say, Jules and I love an island bed, and this is huge. It's a king size bed, absolutely huge. Right, now back onto the near side, let's go through our shower and bathroom. So you'll see here, it's the shower first on the near side. This, I'll just show you this. Now this, as well as just holding this together when you're in transit, you can use this as a squeegee. So once you've had a shower, you can wipe down your shower screen. So I'll just bob that there, and then I'll open this up. So going in, again, you can see that good amount of headroom, easily 6'5". I like the rest of the headroom space. We have got the matte black finish. There is a little light up here. The button for the shower is here. I don't know whether that'll flicker, but I'll turn it on nonetheless. So light there. You can see places here for our soaps or shower gels, on and off here. So not a bad size shower. There is some intrusion from the wheel arch, but the actual main part of the shower, loads of room. And what you also get with the Travel Master is when you have a shower, you'll notice a really loud noise. The shower actually pumps the water straight out of the plug socket into your grey waste tank, because you don't want water to freeze, because these are made in Sweden. It can be very cold, so it takes that water straight away, and you also don't get foul smelling water down the plug. So that is a really good feature. Not one that I personally have seen on a motorhome before, but the Coachman motorhomes have that feature. So yes, pumping water. Right. Now into the washroom. Now, first of all, I've mentioned this before about the Coachman bathroom doors. You'll see here this bar that runs all the way down. This is to actually stop the door from warping in extreme weathers. So this door will stay very nice and straight. Now, you can use the toilet and close the door. This is something to check when you're buying a motorhome. Make sure that you can sit on your loo and also close your toilet door. And you can do that in this one. So opening it up though, here's our Thetford swivel loo, the flush situated at the back. Now you can choose whereabouts, obviously you want to manoeuvre your toilet to. It's got plenty of space there around it to manoeuvre it. The toilet roll holder is here. It's a strange one, it's like curved. We've got a nice banana shaped toilet roll holder, and then somewhere to hang our towels. So you can see ours are here now. The lighting runs all the way around the top as well. It's really well illuminated in here. There is a little sunroof which opens, and it does have a blind and a fly screen. The padded ceiling continues all the way through the motorhome. And then here we have our little washroom area. I've enjoyed using this. I like this shelf. So when I'm set up on site, I get my toiletries out. They're all out here. There's plenty of room. The sink here with the black tap, you can get your head under there, no problem. There's not an issue with this cabinet. Underneath storage, if I open this up, you can see we've got, I'll open that, storage under the sink, so you can put your spare loo rolls and bits and pieces under there. And then this one, this is a push. Now it has got a little tab on it, so you don't end up with fingerprints all over your mirror. Little push, and open this up. some of my toiletries have moved. Now this is a good demonstration. So I always talk about the little bars that are here. Now we've obviously driven here to film to Mr. Moo's and my toiletries have fallen over, but because of the bar, when I've opened my cabinet, they haven't all just fallen out on top of me. So this is something you want to look for. But our little cabinet, and then a further mirror here, plain white wall, and then the wood effect here. So that is our washroom space. Right, I'll close this up. There we go. So just to summarise, we have an incredibly good size bed and bedroom space with that electric function, the air conditioning unit for cold and hot air back there, lots of storage for clothing, and then we step down and we have the separate shower and washroom. Again, there's a lot of space to get changed here. The only compromise back there is the height of the bed. That might just be a bit too much for some people, in which case the longitudinal beds on the 565 might be an option for you walking up. I've not had an issue and we really like this layout. Then a microwave and a tower fridge and freezer, absolute bonus. The oven and the hob and a good sized kitchen area, the gloss finish on there, and then the lounge area. Now what I'll do is I'll just put all this away and we can see it as it should be. And if by magic, there we go, look. In fact, literally that took about 3 seconds. And it gives you an idea again of the space in the motorhome, the amount of headroom, the amount of width here. Yes, this is a big motorhome, but it just gives you an idea of all the space. What's quite interesting is Jules actually said it's the space you never knew you needed, and that really summarises the amount of room in this motorhome. It's almost like we had a big caravan, an 8-foot wide caravan, and when we went to motorhomes, we have missed the internal space, especially when it's bad weather. But this, the Travel Master, has given us that back. And I must say, when this goes back, I'm going to be genuinely gutted, because this is such an amazing motorhome on all levels. Right, let's just dive back outside and have a quick summary as usual. Come on, I'll see you back out there. So there we go. That is the Coachman Travel Master 545. 8 metres and 39 centimetres long, 4.5 tonnes. It's a big one. And that price, just over £127,000 with everything on that I've shown you. Personally, I think this motorhome does offer incredibly good value for money. I know that is not cheap. It's a hell of a lot of money. I can't afford it, you know, I'll be honest. It's a lot of money, but there are people that do have that money. So if you're looking for a big motorhome, this could be the one for you. Is it better than an A-Class? Well, that's up to you, but I think this is a very good alternative to an A-Class. It's going to give you a huge amount of space, great garage, and it's probably the longest motorhome that I can think of that only has the single rear axle as opposed to the twin axle at the rear. So yeah, in terms of how is it to drive, it is phenomenal. It's a beautiful motorhome to drive. And miles per gallon, I've been averaging just under 26 miles to the gallon, which again, I don't think is bad for the weight. The Sportivo, I averaged just under 30 miles to the gallon, and that was 3.5 tonnes. So yeah, in terms of fuel consumption, it's a very new vehicle. It may give more fuel economy as it beds in as well. I've really enjoyed reviewing this motorhome for you, and I'm certainly enjoying testing it out. And we've got loads more to come, Jules and I. We're going to do Devon, the Lake District, and Scotland, I believe, so stay tuned for all of that content. I will put a link to Coachman Travel Master in the description. If you've got any questions, obviously do ask them, and I'll do my best to answer those for you. And thank you to Mr. Moo's on the Yorkshire coast for letting us come and film on a pitch here. I'll put a link to them in the description as well. They've got an amazing ice cream farm. That's why it's called Mr. Moo's. There we go. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.